it's Amy Lemons from Step into Second Grade. I couldn't be more excited to be with you today because Katie King and I have made a sample day of Rooted in Reading. So we've had our second grade curriculum for quite some time. We're in the middle of making our third grade curriculum, but we wanted to put a sample day out there so that teachers who haven't used Rooted in Reading can get a feel for how we lay our units out. But you do have to keep in mind that each of our book units are a week long, so every day it builds upon each other and you're really digging deep into comprehension. So with this sample day, you're just getting one day, but we have a lot of activities in there so that you can get a feel for how we lay out Rooted in Reading. Now our sample day is all about this book, Wanted, Ralphie Rabbit Book Burglar. But we've kept in mind that not everybody may have this book, or you may not plan on buying it, but you still may want to use some of our activities. So we try to make a lot of our activities not so book specific so that they can be used with anything, but also shown you how we used it with this book. This book is a precious book about a rabbit who loves to read, named Ralphie, but he has a problem. He doesn't have enough books at his house. So he starts going into other people's houses to read their books, which then leads to him taking those books out of their house and back to his. So it's a really precious story. And it's really great to get your kids to get excited about reading. So here's what we have for the day. We have our question cards, discussion cards that you can keep on a ring with you while you're reading the story. And you can ask these questions to your students to get them to think about the text, to think about the reading, and to dig a little deeper. We're also focusing on the plot of the story. So we have an anchor chart for you to use, for you to write about the beginning, middle, and end with your students and the story elements. This is a book, not book specific, because there's just the letters for plot, your beginning, middle, and end, so it can be used with any story, which is great. Then we have this exit ticket that students can use to write about the characters, the setting, the problem, and solution of the book. Very simple. Then glue these in their ISNs, or they can turn them in. Or we have this Ralphie craft with our beginning, middle, and end flaps, where students can lift up the flap and write about what happened in the beginning, the middle, and end of the story. If you aren't using the book Ralphie Rabbit, then you don't do the craft, but you can do the flaps. So that can be used with any book to talk about the beginning, middle, and end of the story. We also so we have our anchor chart, we have our exit ticket, we have our discussion cards for comprehension, we've got our beginning, middle, and end activity, and that's what our comprehension focuses on for the day. For vocabulary, of course, we provide you with vocabulary words from the book, along with those cards with the words and definitions, and then we have a vocabulary activity for you that is called Vocabulary Spin. And just to kind of go with the rabbit theme, it's a rabbit in a hat. And students spin to see what they're going to do with the words. So on their little flap-ups for their notebooks, they write their word, then they write their task. So like you can see here, the word is rummage. The task is synonym. So underneath the flap, they wrote a synonym for rummage, such as search. And they do something different with each of the words. That's a fun vocabulary activity. It can be used with any story as well. Then we move into grammar. For this grammar focus, we just have a review of nouns, verbs, adjectives, and pronouns. And this is really fun because we've taken from the book 26 words, A through Z. So we searched through the book. We found a word that started with each letter. Most of them, for X, we had to just find one that had an X in it, and same thing for Z, but it's still fun. So here's what you do. You post these little word cards. These are all words from the story around your room. So you have 26 cards. Students go to the word and they read it. So this word is imagination, and it's for the letter I. On their recording sheet, they write out imagination. This would best be front and back. Imagination, and then they go and they check if it's a noun, pronoun, verb, or adjective. So when they get through, they have all 26 of their words on their recording sheet. Of course, if that's too many, you could just do 13 of them. Just do half of the alphabet and it still serves its purpose. And these cards can be used, even if you don't read the story, they can still go around and find these cards around the room and decide if they're nouns, verbs, adjectives, or pronouns. So that's what our sample day of Rooted in Reading includes. It includes your question cards, your exit ticket, your Ralphie Rabbit craft. with the beginning, middle, and end flaps. We also have some writing pages in there for you. We've got our plot anchor chart, and we have vocabulary words, cards with definitions, a vocabulary spin activity, and then for grammar, we have a kind of a parts of speech review for you. So that's really exciting. If you do use Rooted in Reading, but you're wanting to kind of put in a new book, maybe just for some fun, I highly suggest the book Wanted, Ralphie Rabbit, Book Burglar. It's a book that both Katie and I love, and even if you don't have the book, download the activities so that you can use those with your students. So I hope that you enjoy that sample day, and that gives you a really good feel for how we set up Rooted in Reading. Just keep in mind a lot more is included because each month has 4 of these books, and each book has a whole week worth of activity. So we hope that you enjoy it, that your students love reading Ralphie Rabbit or doing those activities in class. Thanks.